welcome back to Gen X Toy Box. So I am thrilled to have another very talented guest tonight. We have Franco with us. So hi, Franco. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks
Um,
for having me.
oh, you're so welcome. I have been completely blessed to have some very talented people. I mean, the resumes of the people I've had on are phenomenal, and Franco's is definitely one of them. Like, he is the creator, artist, and writer of Patrick the Wolf Boy. You have done tons of stuff with All Yeah Comics, with your friend Art. And then you've also done stuff with Young Justice, Tiny Titans, Superman Family Adventures. Like the list goes on and on. And it's so hard to put like such a big bio in a little introduction, but you have done a lot of stuff. And um, you've also done work. We mentioned that you've done stuff with Art, and you also did stuff with one of our other friends, Chris. You worked on Encounter, which was really good. Another book of Chris Giarrusso and Art. And I think out of all the things that you have done, one of the things I admire the most, it's probably the hardest job on the planet, is a high school teacher. So my hat is off to you on that one because I know that is like one thing I could not even, I can't even imagine doing. So that
Well,
is
thank you.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a lot of cool stuff. So, everybody, welcome Frank to the channel. I'm excited. Um, so, as I ask most of my interviewees, I kind of want to know where all of your accomplishments and things began. Like, where did it all start? So, what were your first experiences with comic books and geek culture as a child, and what did you like to read?
Well, actually, I learned how to read English with comic books because I my first language was actually Italian. I was the first one in my family born here in the United States, and everybody at home spoke Italian. So when I went to school, I had difficulty speaking English.
Mhm.
So I learned how to read by reading comic books. My dad worked very, very long hours to, support the family. So he worked in restaurants, and I would actually only see him on Saturdays when I went to work with him. So, during the week, he would always get up to have breakfast with us before we went to school. So I would see him every day, but he would come home really late at night when I was asleep, and then I would go with him to work on Saturdays, and then I would help clean tables and just do odd jobs at the restaurant. And in the afternoons, when it was kind of slowing down, he would give me money, and I would run down to the corner drugstore and buy comic books. And um, I would sit in the back and read comic books and draw on any piece of paper I could get, on the back of menu or place settings on, you know, um, any paper that I could get. So that's kind of where it all started for me.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Like, do you remember what titles you used to read? Like, what were some of your favorites?
Yeah, I would read everything. I would read like, Richie Rich and the Harvey stuff. I would read Archie. Um, I would read superhero stuff. Spider-Man was always my favorite. Teen Titans, Superman. Whatever I could get my hands on is basically, the pictures were really appealing to me, and the drawings and reading about these superhero adventures that didn't take place in a restaurant where I was all the time
Right.
was appealing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, so like as far as your art set, so you're like reading the comics and then you're essentially drawing what you saw. Um, how did that like hone into like something that you were really interested in? And is it something that like you carried with you throughout your life, like as you got older? Was that always a passion? Did you keep that going?
Yeah, it was. I would draw constantly, but like a lot of people think, or still think today, but I thought then is like you can't really make a lot of money with this stuff. So I actually was thinking of becoming an architect, and that's kind of where I thought my art could kind of lead to, because I was on the artistic side. Once I found out there was a lot of math involved with architecture, that's kind of what what did in
Oh yeah.
that kind of career path.
Mhm.
And then after high school, I like to tell stories. I did well in English, with creative writing and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I always liked that, and I liked art. Um, but when I went to college, I didn't know if I was gonna make any money or not. So I decided to go into another field that would make tons of money, film. So
Okay.
I was a film student, which yeah,
Cool.
I don't regret doing, because I learned a lot about camera placement and story and stuff like that. And I actually worked as a production assistant for a while
Oh.
during college, but um, yeah, it wasn't the creative outlet that I wanted.
Mm.
Because filmmaking is very collaborative, in a sense where I was and filmmaking professionally, I was like a lonely PA, so I was always running wires or lights and everything, and that was everybody else was doing the creative stuff on the other side of the camera,
Mhm.
but not me, and that's not where I wanted to be.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, you can't really get a creative outlet. So you went to college, so you did some architecture stuff and then you went into film. So how did it branch over into, okay, now I want to do comics? Like how did that journey start?
Yeah, that was um a long, you know roundabout route. m- I was working as a production assistant, freelance, so I was working from job to job, and my dad wound up getting hurt. He had an accident, not terrible, but an accident where he had trouble working, and he had the restaurant. So I came back to the restaurant and was working with him. Um, but then I decided to actually open a comic book store, which failed miserably.
Oh my goodness.
When I first opened it up, because I didn't know what I was doing. But I can never be blamed for not taking chances. But
Right.
I opened it up, and I got to know some people and got back into the artwork side of things, and I actually had an art table set up in the store as well. And then when I closed the store, the artwork continued. So I never lost my love of comics, but I found the love of storytelling and art again when I had the first comic store. So I never regret having that.
Cool. Yeah, no. And it's really good because like sometimes you can just learn from your mistakes and it's like it's a part of your path and it gets you somewhere.
Mhm.
So you always learn something from what you go through and
Yep.
that's really cool. So you what was like the first piece that you wrote or that you drew that was illustrated that got like published, that got the attention, that got you to, on the path you are now?
It was my own. It, it was my own stories, because I was looking to break into Marvel or DC,
Mhm.
and I have a stack of rejection letters from everybody. Like I have them somewhere, but I kept them all.
Mhm.
But no, it's okay, because I've worked for almost every one of those companies since. But
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I got a stack of rejection letters, and then I decided, well, if these people aren't hiring me, maybe I should do it on my own. And um, I did a, a couple of stories that weren't really published with other people. Like one was published, it was called Drifter, and then I decided to do my own, which was a vampire book called Flesh and Blood,
Mm,
and then that was more superhero-y looking
mhm,
type of comic book artwork, and it was taking me a long time to do with a full-time job and stuff like that,
mm,
and a family happening. Um, so I decided to do a book called Weirdsville, which was cartoony, that I could draw faster. So
mhm,
I was actually doing both at the same time. I actually doubled my workload for some stupid reason.
mhm.
I thought, hey, I could do this. And then that led to other things. Like I wrote some other things. I wrote a book called I Dream a Genie, based on the TV show.
Mm.
And I don't know if you remember, Pamela Anderson had a show called VIP.
No, I don't.
Um, yeah, that was way back. I wrote a book. I wrote that book, but only one issue ever came out.
Mm,
And the publisher took my name and put his name over my name, so it looked like he wrote it, and then I kind of helped him instead of me writing it. So it's all the things you learn.
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like how did you, because I know you did work for DC and you said you worked with some others as well. So like how did that come about and what was your experience like and what have you learned from that working for major labels?
Um, Getting to work with DC was another roundabout way. I was all this time I was trying to get in with those companies. It just wasn't happening. That my stuff either wasn't good enough, rightly so, or story wise, it's sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. And one of the great um, collaborative efforts in my life has been working with Art Baltazzar, and like you mentioned it before, we worked on Patrick the Wolf Boy for quite a while, and that's a long long story in and of itself, how that got put out. But eventually, it got the notice of an editor named Jan Jones at DC Comics. Um, and we just thought she was a fan. We would see her at all the shows, and she would buy paintings from us and artwork from us. Um, and then one day she called us up, and the famous story is she called Art and she said, would you like to work for DC Comics? And he said, sure. Do you know anybody that works there? Not knowing that she worked there, we had no idea. Yeah. So she introduced us to Dan, and then we did Tiny Titans from there.
Awesome. And Tiny Titans was phenomenal. So that's super cool. I loved it. Um,
Thanks.
yeah. So someone that's looking to break into your industry and, trying to get into comics or they're just trying to do more with their art, like what kind of advice would you give them? Someone that's kind of starting on their journey.
Um, just persevere.
Mhm.
It took, I like to tell people that it took about 10 years to become an overnight success in comics for me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it just took a while, I love the medium so much, and
Mhm.
that's the other thing too,
Mhm.
is for me at least, and every individual has a different experience, but for me, I just love comics so much. I love writing them. I love reading them. Not so much nowadays because I just never have time.
Yeah.
But I loved collecting. I loved reading. I loved creating. I loved drawing. I love writing. Um, love them so much that Art and I opened up a couple of comic book stores, and people thought we were crazy. And they're like, "Why would you do that?" And we're like, "Because we love comics." And
Yeah.
and if there's any way to prove it, it's like, look at everything that we've done in comics. We just love comics.
Yeah. And you guys have two stores, don't you?
Uh, three technically, yeah.
Ooh, there
Yeah.
you go. Wow. See, you're just like living the dream. You got a comic book store. I know. I
Yeah.
think my husband's like, he either wants to retire doing, well, not really retire. Well, I mean, when he gets older, he wants to do a comic book store or a toy store. He's trying to
Mhm.
decide which one, but he wants to do something like that. Of course, he's probably leaning toward toys, but and
Both. Do
that's
both.
yeah, yeah, that's why I said I said do a toy and comic combo. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's his dream job. So like I see behind you, you have all the stuff that you've worked on, which is super cool,
Mhm.
by the way. Very good setup.
Thanks.
So out of all the things that you've done, what are some of the ones that stand out to you that are like nearest and dearest to your heart that you put a lot of work in that you really enjoy doing?
Um, oh geez, that's like asking me to pick.
Your favorite
Uh,
child. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and I only have one, so that's my favorite child. But comics, each one has a special place and meaning for me. Like Tiny Titans was just kind of even before that, Patrick the Wolf Boy, and Weirdsville, which I did on my own. But Patrick the Wolf Boy, that led to Tiny Titans.
Yeah.
Tiny Titans led to one of my favorite runs to this day on comics, which was Billy Batson and the Magic of Shazam, which
Yeah.
was so much fun to do.
Yeah.
Um, we got to play in DC universe. Wrote a couple of Batman stories, and I wrote a Batman 66 story, which was a lot of fun. And we did the Green Team, and then Green Lantern and Young Justice, and um, you know Archie stuff and Hellboy. It was just
Oh, yeah, I
I don't
love
know,
that
just
boy. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Yeah,
Just
that's a lot of fun.
hmm
And then you guys do it so well, I'm telling you. Like I'm impressed. I love your stories. I love your art. So
thanks.
oh no, my pleasure. So what are you currently working on? Like or and what are some things that you might have in the horizon? Like I know you said you've been super busy. What are you busy working on? Anything fun and exciting?
Yeah, actually, I'm working on two projects currently for DC that I can't talk about.
Oh yeah.
Just that I am working on two projects with them.
Cool.
I'm working on a couple of projects of my own um, as well that are being kind of shopped around to different places right now. And yeah, just working on that stuff, and I'm doing a new streaming show called Catching Up with Franco once a week, where I sit down with someone and just draw and talk, which has been fun because I get to just draw for fun instead of draw for work type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you have to have some kind of, balance with that, or else you're just gonna get sick of drawing if you just do it for work all the
Right.
time. Like,
Yeah.
what is drawing for fun look like for you? Like, what do you draw that's just fun and you don't have to think about?
Yeah, well, on the Catching Up show and then on my Patreon, I draw different commissions and stuff like that. I'll just draw like I love drawing superheroes. It was my first love, so it's kind of like, um, what I'm drawn to. The other day we did a talk about, the new Godzilla King Kong movie that's coming out, so I drew Godzilla and King Kong, and
Oh my goodness,
and we've been talking about WandaVision, so I drew some WandaVision pieces, and
very cool.
uh, we were speculating Doctor Strange was going to be in there, so I drew a Doctor Strange one night. So just fun stuff.
Yeah, whatever comes up. And like speaking of the King Kong Godzilla, I don't think I can bring myself to watch that movie because if one of them dies, I'm not going to be able to handle it. Like I'm going to lose it. So I mean, I love both of them equally, and I can't see either one of them disappear off the planet. So I can't watch it. And I'm
But
gonna,
will they though? Will they disappear?
that's what I'm worried about. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, and I cannot face the fact that one of them may not make it. So I'm going to let my husband watch it first, and then he's going to let me know, no, you shouldn't watch it, or yeah, no, we can watch it. So, I mean, he did it for me with John Wick. Because I heard about like the whole like dog situation, which sets off the whole movie. Um, and so he kind of guided me around those parts so I can just not and get past John Wick because that's probably like one of the best movies I've seen in a while. So yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's really good.
Love them.
I know, really good. I was really shocked. I didn't think Keanu Reeves could pull that off, but he really did. I was impressed. So, well, that's really good that you have stuff coming up. And speaking of commissions, I was trying to find, I know you did a commission for my husband. It was a trap jaw that you did for Masters of the Universe. I was trying to find it, but I ran out of time because my son did not want to go to bed tonight. So it's probably going to pop up on the screen later in the interview of the cool trap jaw you did. So he loved it. Um, and then as you know, like this is a toy show and I love talking about toys and geek stuff. I'm curious, do you collect anything? Like I see a Hawkman over there somewhere, like over by your shoulder.
Do.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so I know
I
you got
collect all
some
sorts of stuff.
toys.
So
So what do you
I
collect?
got
I'm so excited. Oh my
um
goodness.
I have I have a few Hawkmen because I like Hawkmen, and then one of the other things I collect is um Batgirl toys.
Ooh.
But I collect all sorts of things. Like I just picked these up not too long ago because I love these. I like the redesigns on Blue Falcon and Dynamite.
Yes, we have
So
those.
I
Yeah.
thought they were really cool, so I picked them up. And then there's just stuff all over the studio. I have like a bunch of
Yeah, I see a stormtrooper back there and
Star Wars stuff back here, and I have a whole bunch of Spider-Man stuff back here. Uh,
back
I
there.
love Captain Britain, so Captain Britain and Spider-Man. I love these guys.
Yeah.
There's a Nightcrawler back here. He
Yeah.
was sculpted by a guy that I went to high school with, actually. Who
Wow.
sculpts? He sculpted for McFarlane Toys, and now he's a freelance sculptor. So he sculpted this guy.
Wow.
Um, so shout out to Gene. Gene St. Jean sculpted this guy. So they're a little dusty,
Wow.
but
I might have to talk to Gene. That's impressive. Like
Yeah.
I love me a good sculpt nowadays. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's super good, super talented. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff. I have like a whole bunch of Spider-Man figures up here. I love this toy line, you know,
Oh yeah.
the
Oh,
Disney stuff. So
yeah.
yeah, they're just everywhere within arm's reach. I
Yeah,
have a Monkey Man and O'Brien back there, and a Beaker from the Muppets over there. They're just everywhere. Whole bunch of stuff.
that's fun.
So
And see, like yours is very like nice and sporadic, but it's like sporadically organized. Like I like that. Um,
not organized.
no,
No.
it's but it's super cool and I love it. But what did you like as a kid? Like I know I don't know if you remember the stuff you used to play with and because a lot of the stuff, a lot of the toys when in the 80s were inspired by cartoons. So like what like TV cartoon toys did you like as a kid?
As a kid, I would have liked to have a lot of toys, but I didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of toys. You know, I grew up kind of in the 70s, and one of the only toys I had a couple of different toys, but um, you know, mostly board games and stuff like that. I had a $6 Million Man
Oh,
figure,
wow.
the one where you can look in the back of his head and see through his bionic eye type thing. It was like my favorite toy, and I had another one called Bullet Man, where you could put on a zip line and just shoot them across. But they were like 8-inch figures, so they were larger figures. I didn't have a lot of action figures, and you know, I missed the whole Mego thing because I'm the right age for Mego stuff, but I didn't really get those. We didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid, which is probably why I overcompensate in buying toys now, because I never had them as a kid, but you know, now they're just everywhere. My wife is like, "Do you really need all these?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
do need them." Yeah.
Need every single one.
Hmm.
And it's really hard because like I've always liked toys. I was always a toy person. Like I was when I grew up, it was mainly Ghostbusters and I did Barbies. I had a couple GI Joes and it was video games. Like those are the things I really liked. Um, but as an adult, I realized all the cool toys I missed out on because I didn't grow up in the 80s and I'm really upset. So now I'm trying to get them all because I feel robbed because the only cool toys I had were Power Rangers and I didn't really get the action figures. Like it just wasn't something I got. So I'm trying to pretend as if I was from the 80s and I'm trying to get all the really cool toys. I'm making up for good time, to be perfectly honest with
There
you.
you go.
Yeah, I got tons. So I was telling Franco, everybody, before this interview, this is a new room that you guys have not seen yet. This is our second toy room, and all the turtles that used to be in the Masters Universe room now move down here. So this is mainly like turtles. We got GI Joes. We got a ton of board games, like all of the like Centurions, Muppet Show, Turtles, Flintstones, Batman, Inspector Gadget, like all of those weird, like Wicket the Ewok board games, like all those cool.
I want to come to your house now.
It is so fun. Like there are toys everywhere. And then we got like Battle Beast and like this is a whole spinner rack of just the reactions that have come out. Like this room is super fun.
You got to do a show where you just show all these things off. Do you do that?
Yes, I did one. I did the Masters of the Universe room. And that was when we got, I think it was 200 subscribers. And then I think we're waiting, maybe it was like 150. I don't remember. But this is going to be the next walkthrough room now that we've got it together because this room actually used to be a video game room. It was like all vintage up until now. Like we had Atari, um, Genesis, and you name it, we had it, except for Xbox because we're not really Xbox people. But we had every console and games in here, and our 15-year-old loved it. But he kind of got out of the video game thing and he didn't play it anymore. And we needed more room for toys because now he's buying toys and I'm buying toys. So we need more room for toys. Um,
You got to get that kid to college so you can move out so you can get another toy room.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like I'm like, what other do we need a kitchen? Like, do we
Yeah,
do we
yeah.
need a bedroom?
You could do takeout. Yeah, you don't need a kitchen.
I'm thinking, I was because Toys are, I mean, there are toys in the kitchen. There are toys in my bedroom. There are toys in my husband's office. There's toys in the living room. Like those Scooby-Doo action figures, we have all of the open sets on our DVD cases. So it's like they're there. Um, but luckily we have a 3-year-old and he knows what he can and can't touch at this point because toys are everywhere.
Hmm.
And he knows to ask. I'm so grateful because any other kid would lose their mind in this house because I lose my mind every time I walk around. I'm like, these are my toys. Like these are my guys right here that I can just pick and play with. So I absolutely love them. But that was like my little toy tangent. But I can't help it. I mean, it's so fun. And like I said, I'm very jealous that I didn't have all these cool toys growing up. I feel like I missed out. So I'm overcompensating as well. I
There
can't.
you go.
But I mean, those are all the questions I had. I really enjoyed the interview, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what you have coming out. And then in the description below in the video, there's going to be a link to a ton of your stuff.
Oh,
I'll
cool.
get your Patreon information. I'll put that in there. I know you're on Facebook, so I'll put your Facebook in there. And all the other stuff. I'll make sure that we can link it to you,
Cool.
so we can, keep an eye out for what you have coming up. And it was really interesting to learn all about, your whole journey to where you've gotten now and all the cool things that you have done, starting from your beginning. So I appreciate it. And guys,
Great.
I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us, Franco.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey everyone! So we have reached a new milestone and I'm really excited because finishing one milestone means I can go make another one. So I would like everyone to make sure that they're continuing to comment, like, and subscribe on the page and get your friends and family to do it too, because the more the channel grows, the more fun stuff we get to do. So I wanted to let you guys know we're going to still do giveaways and such with the comments, and the comments have been reset at the 150 mark. So any videos after January 10th is how we're going to count the comments going forward. So make sure you're commenting on the new videos that are coming out. So I'm thinking our next giveaway is probably going to be at the 300 subscribers mark, and I think it's very doable. I think we can reach it, and I'm really excited and looking forward to it. So I think I don't know. I don't think I know what the prize is going to be yet. So it's to be determined. We'll see. And, I'm always taking suggestions. So if you want to put something down in the comments that some toy that you would like to see as a giveaway, just let me know. So yeah, and it could be another winner's choice. So who knows? And don't be disheartened. I know some of you think that 300 is really far away. But who knows? I may just do a random giveaway in the middle just because I like doing giveaways. So stay tuned. I may put a secret word in a video that if you are the first one to find the hidden word, then you get a toy or get a prize. So who knows? So stay tuned. And I appreciate you guys as always, and help me reach my next milestone. I'll see you soon.